What up guys, welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be discussing the NBA playoffs. The NBA has been back for a little while now, and now it's time for playoff time. And also, if you see this little light shining, it's because I have a light shining up there, and if it's not shining, it's gonna be kind of dark. But at the point, we're just gonna hop right into the playoff bracket. If you don't know what it is, look it up. So, start with round one matchups. We're going to go with Eastern Conference first. These are all my predictions, my opinions. So, if you get butthurt, don't get mad at me. This is my opinion and my thought of what's going to happen. So, we'll start off with the 1 versus 8 matchup in the East. We have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Orlando Magic. This is going to be a straight sweep. Giannis is the most dominant player in the NBA, probably. Maybe Bron. But Giannis is going to dominate the series. They don't have Jonathan Isaac, for Orlando, who's probably their best perimeter defender and defender in general. So I just don't see Orlando winning a game. Maybe Marco Fultz or Vucevic or DJ Augustine or Evan Fournier. Someone goes off one game and they steal one game. But honestly, I really doubt it. And I see Milwaukee probably winning in 4 games. Easy sweep. Next series would be the Miami Heat versus the Indiana Pacers. I am a Miami Heat fan. I'm just putting this out there right now. And I think we have a good roster. I think we can probably beat the Pacers. I mean, if the Pacers had like a seasoned, healthy Victor Oladipo, because obviously he's come back from that injury, and he kind of does not look 100% still. But if they had 100% Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis playing, if they had a fully healthy roster, I can see it being a little bit more competitive. But I see honestly maybe a 5-6 game series in Miami's way. I don't think TJ Warren can keep up his success that he's had, like 36 points per game. And also, when TJ Warren did play Miami, he only had 12 points. I just don't see him keeping that success rate up. And I see Miami moving on to play Milwaukee. Next series would be Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia and Celtics, or Celtics, Philadelphia. Celtics are 3 seed, Philly is a 6 seed. We'll start off with the obvious. No one on the Boston Celtics is really going to be able to guard Joel Embiid. They don't really have that big center that can really play defense. Daniel Theis he's okay. He's not a terrible defender, but he's like 6'8", 6'9". Like, Embiid's huge. Like, no one's going to stop Embiid. They also have Tobias Harris, Al Horford season. Shake Milton's not a terrible player. Obviously, have Josh Richardson at, like, shooting guard. So they have a pretty good roster. Like, you can't just count them out. But they don't have Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons is probably their best playmaker and best defender on the perimeter. And they're really going to miss that. Like, with Jason Tatum probably going to go off. If they had Ben Simmons, put Ben Simmons on Jason Tatum, maybe that's a better series and Jason Tatum does not go off. But I just don't see a world where Jason Tatum doesn't go off. Or like Gordon Hayward or Jaylen Brown or Kemba Walker. Someone's going to go off every night. And I just don't see Philadelphia being able to defend it. Saying that, I think it's going to be a good series. I think Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris could probably carry the Philadelphia 76ers 2 games. I could even see it go 3 games. Honestly, I could see it go 7 games. I could see it go 7 games and Philadelphia really pushing it that far. But no matter how much games, I see Boston winning it. Just for the fact that they don't have Ben Simmons. Philadelphia doesn't have Ben Simmons. And then we're going to have Toronto Raptors. It's a 2 seed versus the 7-seeded Brooklyn Nets. It's going to be, I say Caris LeVert gives the Nets 1 game. He's going to win them 1 game, probably go off. But they don't have anyone else. Excuse me. They have maybe Jared Allen and Caris LeVert. That's really it. Dinwiddie's not there. A lot of people opted out of the season. They don't have Kevin Durant. They don't have Kyrie, obviously. They don't have a lot of people. It's just how the cookie crumbles, and Toronto's going to win in 5 games. No doubt in my mind right there. And then we're going to we're going to keep on the Eastern Conference, and we're just going to do the Eastern Conference, then we're going to switch to Western Conference here. So it'll be a Milwaukee Bucks versus Miami Heat matchup. I think it's going to be a very close series. Like I just said, I'm a Miami Heat fan, obviously, so if my bias was kicking in, I'm saying Miami wins in 7, right? But I'm going to go from a logical standpoint here. Also, I'm filming this before the Denver Nuggets Jazz game on Monday. I believe today's 17th, 18th, something like that. So I'm filming this before that. I got Milwaukee winning in 7. Just for the fact that Miami is playing a lot of rookies. Kendrick Nunn's an undrafted rookie. Duncan Robinson's really young. Tyler Harrell's really young. And they're all a big part of this team. Like, I know Goran Dragic, Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, even Kelly Olynyk, they might step up in the playoffs, right? But Tyler Hero, Duncan, and Kendrick Nunn are such a huge piece for this team, and I feel like they're gonna struggle a little bit just for the fact that Milwaukee's such a great team, and they have great defense, right? And Miami's team is just so young. I think Jimmy Butler can carry this team, and even Bam. Bam's young too, but I think they can carry the team to Game 7. But like Giannis is too much for them. Chris Middleton's gonna have a great game one time. Even maybe Dante DiVincenzo's gonna have a great game. Brook Lopez, someone. I see Milwaukee winning in 7 games. Very, very good series, but I got Milwaukee winning in 7. Now we're gonna go down to Toronto versus the Boston Celtics. That's a tough series. That's a tough series, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Boston. I got Boston in 6 or 7 games. I know Toronto plays great team ball and everything, but who's gonna score late game? They don't have a great ISO player. Like Pascal's great, but he's not a great ISO player. Kyle Lowry's good, not a great ISO player. Fred VanVleet's good, not a great ISO player. And late game, how are they gonna score? I mean, I know Boston, they have it figured out. Jason Tatum's getting the ball. Unless Jaylen Brown, Hayward, or Kemba are having a great night, Jason Tatum's getting the ball late game. I know he has capability to get me a bucket, you know? And they're such a well-rounded team. And the Raptors don't have a big man. They don't have, like, that one big man that's going to, like, give you 30 points a game. And that's Boston does not have to defend that, right? And I just have Boston winning the series. They both got great depth. But for people saying how Toronto, they're great without Kawhi, blah, 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 and they're like such a great team, even though they lost to Kawhi, you got to remember, they were a great team when they had DeMar DeRozan. Like, they were a great team. They were the number 1 seed every single time. In the playoffs, they choked. They just they were able to win it, right? And when they brought Kawhi in, he was that guy in the playoffs. He's going to give me 30 points, and he's going to get me the game-winning bucket, as you guys saw in the playoffs, right? So they don't have that guy in the playoffs. Like, Kyle Lowry's okay. Like, he's okay in the playoffs. I've never seen Pascal in the playoffs take over, you know? That was Kawhi's role last year. So who's going to take over this year? That's my thing. So I got Boston winning the series. And it's going to be a Milwaukee-Boston conference finals here. And I got probably Milwaukee winning in 6. I think Boston's a little too young. Obviously, they've been there before, but Giannis was there last year. The whole Bucks team pretty much was there last year, and they have a ton of veterans. Boston's a young team. They have veterans, but they're still a young team. And how are they going to defend Giannis? Jason Tatum's not the best defender, and Giannis is just a bulldozer. He's going to bulldozer everybody. So it's a simple. I got Milwaukee winning in 6. Maybe Boston pushes it to 7 games, but I see 6 games. Milwaukee. But if I'm going to be biased here, that's my unbiased opinion. If I'm going to be biased, I have Miami beating Milwaukee in 7. And then I got Miami also beating Boston in 7, making it to the finals. But that's probably not going to happen. That's my biased opinion. But of course, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm going to say that, you know. If you're a Philadelphia fan, you're going to say, oh, Joel Embiid's carrying us to the finals. Like, that's my opinion. I'm biased, right? But non-biased, Milwaukee going to the finals. Now, going to the Western Conference, it's going to be a bunch of great games. Start out with the 1 versus 8 seed. The Portland Trailblazers as the 8 seed. Underdogs go against... Hold on, I'm thirsty. Let me drink water. Drink water, stay healthy. Portland 8 seed versus the number 1 seeded Los Angeles Lakers. Portland is a great story, right? Damian Lillard, he's great. CJ McCollum's great. Yusuf Nurkic playing great. Even Carmelo playing great. But you're going against LeBron. And playoff LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's just going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough series. Because Portland doesn't really have anyone that can guard LeBron James. They don't really have that wing defender where I'm like, he's going to clamp up someone. Nurkic and Whiteside and maybe Zach Collins might be able to do a decent job on Anthony Davis, but they can't contain him for 7 games. They can't contain LeBron for 7 games. And I know that the Lakers don't really have that perimeter defender, which would be like Rondo or Avery Bradley against CJ and Dame. But I don't think CJ and Dame could carry them past LeBron and Anthony Davis, because you might get that one big game from Kyle Kuzma, right? And that one big game from Dion Waiters or J.R. Smith, and that's going to really help them push. I see Damian Lillard probably getting 1 or 2 games. Damian Lillard's probably gonna get like 50 points in one game. He's gonna go off a game. Maybe CJ goes off a game. Melo gets you 25. Nurkic 30, and they're probably gonna go off one game. But I don't see them winning it all against the Lakers. At least I just don't see it happening. Lakers in 5 or 6. Next series, Houston versus Oklahoma City. That might be the best round 1 matchup in the whole entire league this year, because obviously you have the storyline of Chris Paul, who played with the Rockets last year, and Russell Westbrook playing with OKC last year, right? That's a great storyline going against each other. Because remember, Russell Westbrook's not going to be there for game 1 and 2. Harden can drop at 50 points, but Russell Westbrook can complement that. But he's not going to be there, right? So, and you gotta think, if Russell Westbrook just misses the first 2 games, that's what it's projected, right? So OKC's going to win one of those games, right? Because OKC's a great team. Chris Paul, Shea, Steven Adams. I know I'm missing some guys. And I'm upset. Oh, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder, 6th man of the year at me. But, yeah, I just see them winning it. Or not winning it. I see Houston. Russell Westbrook's going to come back. I see Houston probably winning in 7. I think it's going to be a deep series. Houston in 7. But am I going to be surprised if OKC wins it? No, not at all. I'm not going to be surprised, but I got Houston winning it. Next series would be the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets versus the 6-seeded Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz don't have Bojan Bogdanovic, right? And he's a 20-point-per-game scorer for them. And a pretty decent defender. So it's going to be like, yeah, Donovan Mitchell is going to give you like 25 a game. Rudy Gobert can give you maybe your 15 and 15 with like 5 blocks, right? But who else is going to score? Maybe Jordan Clarkson? Maybe Royce O'Neal? Mike Conley's not going to be there too, because he's leaving the bubble for his birth of his child. That was reported a couple days ago. So it's like, who's going to step up for them? Whereas the Nuggets, you're going to have Jamal Murray stepping up, Nikola Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. is coming out as a star in this bubble, right? You have Jeremy Grant. Bol is a solid player. Miles Plumlee. I know I'm missing a ton of guys. Monte Morris, so PJ Dozier, even him. They got a deep team. I see them winning probably 5 or 6. No, I'm gonna say 5. I think it's gonna be close games every game, but ultimately the Nuggets gonna pull out in 5. That's my opinion. And then you're gonna have the 2-seeded Los Angeles Clippers, 7-seeded Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic, great talent. Kristaps Porzingis, great talent. But the Clippers are just too good. It's like Luka's gonna be dribbling the ball up. He's gonna be guarded by Paul George. He's gonna get a screen. Oh, Kawhi's on him. He's gonna get a screen. Pat Beverly's on him. So it's like he's gonna put up great numbers, right? But he might struggle a little bit just because the Clippers are such good defensively, and it's his first time in the playoffs. Same with Porzingis, first time in the playoffs. But they don't really have a big man that can really stop Porzingis, But it's gonna be a great series overall. But I would say that the Clippers win it in 6 games. Luka and Porzingis are probably gonna give you 2 games. I don't see it going to Game 7. I see it going to Game 6, and the Clippers are pulling it out. So we're gonna have in the second round the Lakers versus the Rockets. That's probably the best second round matchup. No, in the West. In the West is the best second round matchup. Obviously Houston's a great team. Rondo might be back, I think, for the Lakers. But is he really going to stop Harden and Westbrook? No. Harden and Westbrook are going to give you maybe 80, 90 points combined. But that small ball lineup for the Rockets might come back to haunt them. Because Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis can play perimeter defense. He can play interior defense. And no one's going to stop him from scoring. They don't even have someone that can stop LeBron. Maybe Trevor Ariza was that guy that could stop LeBron. Like back then when Ariza had to play against the OKC, Durant, Westbrook, Harden, voice crack there. But they don't really have anyone that can stop LeBron or Anthony Davis. But I think it can go to Game 7. It can definitely go to Game 7. But I would have the Lakers winning just because of LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's just that's how the cookie crumbles. LeBron and Anthony Davis are too good to lose. And then the Clippers Nuggets. I think this is when the Nuggets' inexperience is going to kind of show up. Because their young team, Michael Porter, who's averaging like 20 something. It's his first time in the playoffs, and he's going to be playing against Paul George, Kawhi. You know, that's just tough for anybody. Anybody's going to play that, even if you're seasoned. For LeBron, it's going to be tough. You know, but I think if the Nuggets can get 2 games and keep it a super competitive series, I think that's a win for the Nuggets. They're young and they're talented, and they just lack experience. So winning 2 games against probably the best all-around team in the league, that's a win-win. That's a win. You get your experience, and you played good basketball against the best team all around. But I see them winning 2 games, the Nuggets, and I see Clippers winning in 6. It's a Western Conference Finals matchup. LA Lakers versus the LA Clippers. Probably the best matchup we've seen. Or not we've seen, but it's the best matchup we're going to see in the playoffs. Obviously, everybody would love to see that in LA. The atmosphere in LA with the fans, that would be crazy. But my prediction would be Clippers in 6. I don't even think it's going to get 7 games, honestly. LeBron and Anthony Davis can only do so much for the team. I mean, Kuzma might go out for 1 game, maybe Dion or JR. I'm trying to think of anyone else. That's the thing. The Lakers don't have that everyone else. Because if Kawhi or Paul George have a night off and they don't play good, right, you can have Lou Will go off, Marcus Morris go off, Reggie Jackson go off. The Lakers just don't have that. So if the Clippers can kind of contain LeBron, Anthony Davis can get his points, right? Anthony Davis gets his points. But they don't have that other guy where I'm like, he can get me a bucket, you know? They don't have that other piece. They don't have that all-around piece. Kuzma's inconsistent. Yeah, he could be the other piece, but he's just not there right now. He's an inconsistent player. So the finals matchup will be the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And we saw last year how Kawhi and the Raptors defended Giannis. They probably have to contain Giannis, right? Chris Middleton's going to have to go off while being guarded by Paul George or Kawhi. That's going to be tough. Eric Bledsoe is not the offensive point guard he once was in Phoenix, you know? He's more of a defensive guy. And they're going to need offense in that series. They're a great offensive team, right? They're great defensive too, but they're going to need offense in that series to win. Just because the Clippers are so good defensively. DiVincenzo's young. He's too young. George Hill, he's an okay player. I just don't think the Bucks roster is good enough to beat the Clippers. I'm going to be honest. I think the Clippers have the best roster in the NBA. And they have 2 of the best players in the NBA, in Kawhi and Paul George, right? So I'm going to say Clippers in 6 or 7. Clippers in 6 or 7, honestly. I think Giannis is going to go off for a couple games, maybe Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton. But ultimately, the Clippers are just too good. Kawhi Leonard, Finals MVP. I could see Giannis maybe requesting a trade if they don't do anything. You know what? The Bucks didn't re-sign Malcolm Brogdon this year, right? And Brogdon's had a great year. I think that's what's going to cost them. Because Brogdon gives you that extra scoring, shooting, and playmaking, right? And they don't have that right now. And I think Brogdon's going to be like that one guy. Like if they had Brogdon who can give you 15 points a game, 15 points, 5 assists, right? That would be so crucial for them in that series. So that's my playoff prediction here. I got the Los Angeles Clippers winning in 6 or 7 games against the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. Yeah, that's really it. I also might do an award prediction video, but yeah, that's be it, guys. It's a little bit of a lengthy video here, but it's my playoff prediction. So I will see you guys all in the next video.